Welcome, travelers, to my podcast, Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. I am your host, Ike, and I will be your guide through the journey that is E&M. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 6 of Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. I'm your host, Ike, also known as Hito in certain circles, and I want to go ahead and welcome you to this episode titled A Slight Mix-Up. So in this episode, not going to take too much of your time, just going to go ahead and look at a known misconception in regards to polyamory, and that is the confusion of polyamory with polygamy. Something that you, if you are in certain circles, you'll see it quite a bit. It will pop up in regards to how certain individuals want their dynamic, how certain people want to move, how they kind of want their partners to interact with their metas, or what kind of metas that they want for themselves. It's something that is pretty prevalent. I've noticed a lot. And there's also some things that are also kind of, let's say, not really understood because of how the term polygamy is used. So that's something I just want to go ahead and get into today. As far as what the road trip item for today will be, so instead of music, I got another book for you. This one is More Than Two by Franklin Vo and Eve Rickett. This book is essentially not a guide, but, well, the title itself is, the full title is More Than Two, A Practical Guide to Ethical Polyamory, More Than Two Essentials. So it's essentially kind of giving an outline of how you can move forward if you're going that route of polyamory, how to essentially reduce the speed bumps along the way, so that way you're not hitting a pothole every time, but every now and again there might be a little bit of a hiccup, but nothing that can damage your journey. I would recommend that as a read. They do have a website as well that has a lot of resources, as well as certain opinion pieces to tackle things like compersion, secondary Bill of Rights, things of that nature. I personally find it to be an intriguing read. I am halfway through. I need to go ahead and finish that book myself. Shout out to Audible. But yeah, I would say that would be a good read. As far as the weekly recap, nothing too crazy has been going on. Just work, school. I need to finish this class in 2 weeks, and I have 5 units to do. So hooray, procrastination. I'm gonna be heading to Houston this weekend. I made some friends. I'm in a lot of group chats, and I've made some of kinky friends where it's hey, we're doing a thing. I'm like, sure, I'll be there. It's yo, can you bring the wax? I'm like, hell yeah, why not? But so that's essentially what I got going on this weekend. Gonna go ahead and hang out with my anchor partner as well when I get back. Might even go to Kiki Bingo out on 4th Street, which is the gay district bar area. Made a friend on OkCupid where we're just gonna go ahead, maybe meet up and try to see if we can win something from the bingo. They do have some dope prizes, and the bartender, legit. Beyond that, I would say let's go ahead and get into this episode. Now, a slight mix-up. I kind of understand where a misunderstanding can come about with polyamory and polygamy, because in certain instances, they can look similar in regards to how a dynamic is built. Because if a guy is dating another lady, and then that guy is also dating another person, and both of them don't really have a partner at the time, it can come off as though that is the structure they agreed upon. Because no one ever asks, hey, is this the dynamic that you wanted to build? Are you not looking anymore? Because dating is hard, so it's also possible that those other partners are not finding anyone that they find intriguing and are pretty much happy where they are, and will let a partner come to them when they see fit. On the polygamy side, it is strictly all about one sex with one person that is allowed to date multiple people, with them only dating that one individual. And the reason why it kind of rubs me wrong, I don't have nothing against polygamy. It's whatever consenting adults, keyword consenting, agree to do, go do it. We got the one life. That's how you choose to live it. Go be great. I get bothered when people try to use some patriarchal idea in setting up the concept of polygamy. Because, to be frank, polygamy is not one man, multiple women. Polygamy is one individual with multiple spouses. That's what it is. Because women can also be polygamous. But we don't really talk about that because the idea of a woman with multiple men, it normally comes off as though the men involved are emasculated and therefore they're seen as lesser than men. And there are plenty of people, like there are plenty of dynamics that we don't see because they're not put in front of us, where it is the one woman with multiple partners, and these partners know about each other. It's what they agreed upon. Like in some instances, they prefer it because they don't have the time to provide everything that she needs, and they don't have the ego to think that, oh, it better be a woman that provides you the other things, or oh, she's going to be taken away from me by this other man, because we don't own other humans. Like, people choose to be with us. So that's just my overall beef with the concept of polygamy being mixed in with polyamory. Now, the reasons why that mix-up tends to happen is the use of the word poly. Now, again, I prefer to use the term polyam because I did read up on how Polynesians want to kind of reclaim that term poly as description to themselves, and I have no problem throwing the am at the end of it. And I believe because when people talk about polyamory, they normally just shorthand it to poly, poly, poly. So when these guys out here that have a certain bravado, a certain grandeur where they think, oh, hey, I think I deserve two women. When they hear poly, all they hear is, oh, I can add more women because they're thinking of polygamy, not polyamory. And when they go in with the idea of polygamy, it really bothers me when I hear the people that are like, yeah, let's go ahead and build an empire, or yeah, generational wealth, or all these other things that are using their partners as commodities and not seeing them as whole beings. It it just rubs me the wrong way personally. Like, sure, there may be a woman out there that matches that concept. Like, we have pick-me's getting chosen every day, maybe. And I could see how, the way the world is set up, you need at least like five people just to afford a place. So I can understand the overall appeal, but to belittle it down to that, it's like, what are you living for? Like, you can die tomorrow, and guess what? That generational wealth you wish you tried to grab with multiple wives is not there for you. So what was the whole point of that concept? It's I don't using human capital to advance yourself. It's very meh, especially because I come from Nigeria. Specifically, I'm Igbo. And yes, before any kind of external religion got involved with my people, there was the concept of having multiple wives. But you didn't get multiple wives to build an empire. You got multiple wives because you can handle multiple wives. This wasn't a tit for tat like I bring you in, now help me make money. This was I till and own vast amounts of land, and I can actually take care of more than one wife. So that was the concept I grew up and saw and understood. Personally, I did grow up Catholic, so it's kind of a mix, Catholicism, African traditional religion, sure. But the overall concept is you only take on partners that you can handle. You do not take on partners that you cannot. Like that, yes, there were some people that have in my culture, and normally they were belittled. They were seen as less of a man because they couldn't handle more than one wife. Like, what was the saying? Your eyes are too big for your belly. Like when you try to order everything on the menu, but you only take two bites and you're full. That's that kind of concept that I grew up understanding. And also, the term polygamy itself has been co-opted to assume that is masculine off the rip. Because when I grew up, I always heard polygamy. I always thought, oh, polygamy means one man, multiple wives. No, polygamy just means an individual with multiple spouses. That is broken up into two forms, being this heteronormative sense. That means you have one husband, multiple wives, which is polygyny, or you can have one wife and multiple husbands, being polyandry. So just simply saying polygamy, that does not mean off the rip one man, multiple women. And you'll see it, you'll have groups like Black Polygamy that share things that kind of embrace the idea of just, one man, multiple women. When in reality, when you're saying your group is called Black Polygamy, that means you're also out here for polygyny and polyandry. But honestly, I saw that group, I looked in, I saw a lot of Hotepian shit going on, and I don't care for that whole. I don't get the idea of like, yo, why do Hoteps hate women? As I wish someone would explain that to me, because everything they say, it comes off as I hate women and I want to impress men. It rubs me wrong. It's like, yo, I mean, I guess maybe I honestly, I think these hoteps might be bisexual and they're trying to find a way to fight that, and like they're overcorrecting, because I do not care. I love my friends, my homeboys, like we cool. I don't care to impress you niggas. I'm over here for the ladies. Like that's the one that gets my heart thumping. Like I'm not here to impress these niggas for what? I'm getting this bread so I can go ahead and hang out with some beautiful women. So I will never understand their concept of belittling women and thinking they're lesser than. Like I'm just shocked at the women that throw themselves at whoever that is, but they're getting somebody, and pick me's are born every day, B. But beyond that, I really think the mix up really comes from just using the term of poly. Now, there's no way to really separate it, because polyamory is becoming something new to the consciousness, at least in Black America. Now, have it existed before? Yes, but more times than not, it was on the like it's just normal people. Normal people living their lives. No one really checks for the regular family and see what they're about. Like I have a friend of mine who grew up in a commune with like her parent was polyamorous, and that was what about 30, 40 years ago. So they've been out there. It's just that it wasn't as mainstream as it has become now due to some media outlets trying to show a portrayal of that kind of dynamic, a very bad portrayal, because a healthy dynamic is not good for television. Is the main reason why all love stories and movies have conflict. Like, if there was a if there was a movie about a healthy relationship, it would not even last 10 minutes. Like people would like leave and cut it off. And yeah, but with that regards, it's not that hard to like just clean up. Like polygamous people, like you can just simply say, "Hey, I want to be controlling of a." It's just again polygamy. I have nothing wrong with the concept, but it just seems like the procedures. It just rubs me all the wrong ways. It doesn't make sense how belittling it is to women, because it really does treat them as commodities. And I will never be here for the one penis policy. And by one penis policy, it means that within the dynamic, the women involved with that individual cannot have sex with anyone with a penis. His penis is the only penis that you are allowed to interact with. And now you can go ahead and mess with other women. You can mess with the women within the dynamic, but no other penises than him. Rubs me wrong because it's very controlling of that individual's like exploration, sexuality. Like they are limited, and what's worse is the person that implements that policy normally has some form of control over that individual, be it financial, mental, emotional. Like they have something over that person that is keeping them from breaking free, because there are some people out here living life is hard. If this person is paying my rent and my car note, it's going to be hard for me to say, no, I want to be able to sleep with other men, because that car is in his name and that rent is getting paid. So he's going to say, oh, if that's the case, all right, I guess you're going to be looking for rent. Good luck. And that's where it just rubs me wrong how some people go about this. Because there are ethical ways to go about being a polygamist. Check out Akon. He has multiple wives. He's wealthy enough to handle all of them, and he's not over here trying to push the idea that, hey, y'all got to carry your weight and help me and do all these other things that I should do for myself. Um, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much my main thoughts in regards to that mix up. I'm gonna go ahead and at least get into a little bit more. Want to just take a quick break, and then I'll be back for the second half. Like I said, this is not gonna be a long episode for once. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, and thanks for staying around. Just want to at least go ahead and second part give some other like final thoughts in regard to this mix up that tends to happen. And I think one of the main things I do want to say, I want to reiterate, I don't see anything wrong with polygamy at all. If anything, it's how certain kingdoms have like established themselves. It's how certain empires were built. Yes, but it just really comes down to the individuals being involved. More times than not, they're ill informed. They are emotionally immature, and a lot of times they kind of forget that it's not always about them. Now, not saying that polyamory itself is perfect, like because you do have those same problems, be it emotional immaturity, lacking of communication skills, as well as some that just fear confrontation. So, no relationship or dynamic is perfect. It is whatever you make it to be. I just personally just feel like no matter where you go into, just make sure that you yourself are knowledgeable as well as protecting yourself. Because one thing that I share to anyone is that no other human being is in charge of your happiness. That is like you are in charge of that. If someone made you sad, it's you that's feeling the sadness. Now, that's not to say that you should brush off any ill will that sent your way, but it's also too important that you have to control the situation that you're in. If you're in a situation that makes you sad, you need to move off of that, go to a situation that makes you happy. And that can include confronting that sadness, discussing it, and finding a revelation. And if no revelation is possible, you got to move on. And yes, it can be hard to move on in certain situations, which is again why I say you got to do your due diligence because you are in charge of your own happiness, your own life. And no matter what dynamic you go into, you have to make sure that it's for you. Don't force yourself into something that you have no business doing. If you do not like girls, or I'm sorry, if you do not like women, then don't go into a threesome where you're expected to interact with the woman. Let what you want be known so you are not put in said predicament. And in regards to the mix up that continues to happen, guess what? The internet exists, so yes, I might be annoyed by it, but it's gonna constantly be there. Be it by ill informed people, bots, or whoever joins these groups with that wrong intention. Because you will see some people that are in their groups, they will roll their eyes at people that come in saying, "Oh yeah, I would like a close triad, like me and two other girls, and we only deal with each other." They will roll their eyes because this is a polyamorous group, and what you described was like pure polygamy. Like you're in the wrong group. It's not about restricting love. Because what if one of those two ladies want to go find another partner or another guy? That's not fitting to your dynamic. So it's also a sense of freeing yourself because because no one ever asked themselves why they want the dynamic they want. Like he wants two women. Cool. Why? More times than not, you will try to think of a fancy answer, but the reality is because you want some threesomes. Like you want to have sex with other women and have threesomes involved. That's what people see when you come in saying you want a close triad with two women, and then if someone come around and ask them, "Hey, would you want a close triad with another guy and a woman?" Most likely he will say hell no because that comes back to the whole emasculation point. So it really is a matter of kind of you just gotta take things at face value. I would prefer if the polyamorous people in the group didn't belittle them, because more times than not, they're just ill informed. Like, this is a new thing for a lot of people, and they don't understand. Like, yes, you could be tired of it, tired of people coming into the space all like without even thinking about what it's about. But you gotta give some grace because they're thinking one thing. You gotta correct their thinking because if you give them the cold shoulder and shrug them off, then they're gonna find someone to exploit without having the full facts of, oh, okay, I see why this is bad. I would still prefer this, but like, make sure that he is also like getting consent. Make sure he is working on his own like emotional habits. Just at least guide people so that way less people get hurt. I tend to dabble in those spaces, not too much because some of these people do get on my nerves. Like I'll see some things and I'll just hold my hand in my head like in one of the groups I'm in now, someone posted that Muslim woman, that Muslim black woman that be saying all the pick me stuff. I'm like looking at this like, bruh. Like, I get it. You look 40, maybe 50. If you really think that that's what's hot, you ain't gonna get no play from any of the women in this group because you're over here telling them, hey, if your man's not looking good, that might be on you, sis. You need to look yourself in the mirror. Maybe that's why your man ain't shit. Like, bruh, like, did you really just read that? Like, and that's what I see in the groups, and I'm like, this is tiring. And I'm an extrovert, so I do enjoy the interactions of I love meeting new people. I only met these people I'm going to Houston with, like, that one time. We chat in the group for a while, and it's like, I'm excited to meet people. But when I see things like that, I'll be looking at the guy like, bruh, like, I don't really care to meet you because that shit is a toxic thing. Like, why are you putting this in the group? Why are you putting this negative energy in there? Pretty much telling women that it's your fault that your man ain't shit. It's like, yeah, that's why sometimes these groups are tiring. Yes, during the dating episode, I did bring up the whole thing regarding how, you might be able to find a dynamic in these groups. I'm just glad I didn't have to resort to that because it's work going through all that. Because, again, internet, you'll have your bots that get in and sneak in. You'll have your trolls that are making fake accounts just to see what it's like on the inside and possibly rat some people out. It's tiring, but for some reason we keep doing it because the rewards when it hits, I am telling you, it is amazing. Like, I am just so happy and fulfilled, like, emotionally. And I really like yes, I believe that I may be ambimorous, which is the term meaning you could be non-monogamous or polyamorous. And I think that's the reason why I chose relationship anarchy, because I feel like it fits my overall vibe. But beyond that, that's all I just really wanted to share. I just wanted to keep it short. I gotta get my butt on the road to Houston in like an hour. But I wanted to make sure I try to be more consistent with getting these recordings out. I am still aiming for my release day to be Wednesday. I just need to finish getting some other things handled in my life, like this sociology class I got to finish in 2 weeks. Got these trips to plan for my anchor's birthday. We also got a trip to hedonism in August. We got Swing Fest in July. Like, I am trying to enjoy my life in the middle of a world that is surrounded by disease and the coronavirus. Get the joke? Because the world is just filled with racism and sexism and classism, and that's a disease. And then, the coronavirus. Good joke, Ike. But no, guys, I really do appreciate y'all for listening. Next week, I do want to go into something a little bit lighter. I want to go ahead and talk into the different kinds of polyamory that's out there and give a dedicated shout out to solo polyamory because I did find that intriguing and that was almost something that I wanted to move forward and do. But again, opted for relationship anarchy, so we'll go ahead and discuss that next week. You are able, if you want to go ahead and reach out to me, just be sure to send an email to hitchhikersguide@gmail.com. You will also be able to find me on Instagram at hitchhikersguide@ENM. And on Twitter, Hitchhiking to ENM, and it will be just the 1H in the middle, so HITCHIKINGTOENM. That's how you'll find me on Twitter. And if you have any critiques, any questions, or just need like maybe some advice, I'm decent at giving advice. Just be sure to go ahead and reach out. And until next time, travelers, y'all be easy and be safe.